Hi, I'm Kyle Yrigoyen, and I study the philosophy of technology, the ethics of technology, and the philosophy of cognitive science. Have you ever wondered about how and why technology exerts such great influence upon us personally, as well as a society? You might be wondering what some of these subjects are, so let me tell you a story about how I got interested in them. You see, I'm from San Jose, California originally. Most of you know that, however, by the name of Silicon Valley, where many of our technologies are created and designed. Ever since I was young, I loved to build things, to make things, take things apart, and put them back together. But my story begins, like so many young people, at the university. There I plan on studying engineering. But after my first term, I considered taking an internship at a local tech company known for manufacturing military equipment. At the time, the United States was involved in the global war on terrorism, as well as Operation Iraqi Freedom. And it was then that I considered whether or not I wanted to be involved in the manufacturing of weapons of war. I was especially concerned that I would never be able to control how something I helped to make was to be used. Specifically, I was worried that were I to design or manufacture some kind of a microprocessor or chip, it might make its way into a missile, which might be used halfway around the world, and perhaps even take the lives of innocent civilians. It also made me realize that the making and using of a new technology is always a matter of moral concern. And, furthermore, to build something new is to build a new world. So this led me to switching academic paths from engineering to philosophy. So I never lost my love for making and building things, but I later discovered that scholars had already been addressing these questions through the philosophy of technology and the ethics of technology. So the philosophy of technology concerns the nature of technological objects and what makes something a technology. And the ethics of technology considers the nature of values and their relationship to the things we make, responsibility of the makers and users, and even issues surrounding right and wrong and good and bad uses of technologies. So I can talk about my current research interests by framing them in the form of 3 questions. So the first question in my research concerns how and why, when building a new technology, it so dramatically changes the world. I can elaborate on this question by thinking of the ways in which technology changes the way we think about ourselves, the way we interact with and think about others, and the way that we shape and change our environment. 3 technologies, I think, exemplify this in the internet, in smartphones, and especially in social media. And this leads me to my second research question. How do values show up in the things that we make and use? So this research question takes the objects themselves as an appropriate subject of investigation. The example I have in mind is something like the atomic bomb, or maybe artificial intelligence. One way of thinking this through is that now the bomb exists, the world will never be the same. Similarly, if artificial intelligence or artificial general intelligence is ever created, the world surely will never be the same. My third research question is what are the moral limits, if any, to designing and building and making new technologies? I think this is an important question to ask because just because we can make or build something doesn't necessarily mean that we should. Examples of technologies that we may wish to pause, limit, or altogether prohibit might include human genetic engineering, or even human cloning, or maybe some other kind of technology that we have not yet thought up, but would nonetheless violate general principles of moral reasoning. I think that this is the sort of research question that makes a big difference, that is, it matters, not just to the makers and builders of new technologies, but also to every one of us who uses a technology. One of the ideas I'm most interested in is whether a technology has the power, of its own accord, to shape and change human behavior individually and collectively. I also have 4 open questions I like to ask any inventor of a new technology. These I call 4 open questions of responsible making. The first, what are you making? Then, why are you making it? The third is, how are you making it? And the fourth, for whom are you making it? So this short list of questions can serve as a set of guidelines for people who are making and using to help determine what values they hold as they're making and building. So that's my story, and I hope by sharing with you my research questions that I've made a good case for why thinking about technology and ethics is not only practical, but always a matter of moral concern for those who make and build.